All right, so the New York Rangers fall in their fifth preseason game. I don't know why I said fourth, in their fifth preseason game to the New Jersey Devils. And this one was just infuriating for the most part because they could have easily have been in this game if they had a better start, which is something that Laviolette said that he wants from this team. Has not really got a good start from this team in most of the games this preseason thus far, which is fine because it is preseason. But at the same time, you want to develop some habits early. So I would like it if they could start a game on time, and they have to turn around and play here tomorrow. But regardless, I'm not going to be too pissed off. I mean, there's a lot of things I like. There's a lot of things I didn't like. Uh, First of all, Jonathan Quick did not really like. I thought Jonathan Quick was brutal. Granted, I don't think he's the sole reason that the Rangers lost this game. I think that they just played poorly at certain points in the game, especially the first period. And the special teams, I know that Laviolette said that they haven't started working on it extensively, but there needs to be serious work done with the special teams because unless they're not giving it their all out there, this is unacceptable from the special teams because they pretty much lost this game on the special teams. And outside of that, I mean, because let's be real, right? The second period was not even played 5v5, like the entire second period. No, there was barely any time played 5v5. It says the Rangers dominated the 5v5 play in terms of the Corsi in that period. There wasn't really a lot of 5v5 played. But in the third period, I thought they looked good. First period, they looked brutal. But we're going to talk about all of it. Before we do, leave a like on the stream if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially for Ranger fans. And turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live on the channel. But the Rangers start off by taking a too many men penalty early. And it ends up killing them right off the rip. Keandre Miller makes a bad play off the faceoff, and then for whatever reason, everyone's chasing the puck there. All four guys are along the boards, and then Hughes finds Brett in the slot, and then Jesper Bratt ends up burying a goal there. So that's from Hughes and Palat. That makes it 1-0, and then it's not so long after that the Devils make it 2-0 as Luke Hughes just blasts one from the point, and no pressure from the defense on the point, and he ends up making it a 2-0 game. That one, you could probably argue Jonathan Quick needs to have. That's a little bit of a bad play. The first one, not so much. There's not much he could have done. But regardless, you just need better defense and you need a better start. It's just that simple. This team needs to start games on time. And that was the biggest issue under Gerard Gallant. There was too many times where this team did not start on time, which is why, again, I know that everyone's going to say, it's just preseason. It's just preseason. But it's about creating habits going into the regular season. And unless these guys are not giving their all right now, I want to see better starts to these games. It's just that simple. But yeah, I mean, they couldn't make a breakout pass, could not play well in the neutral zone. The Devils were just playing way faster. Kevin Ball then threw a big hit on Ryan Lindgren. Trouba would throw a hit back on Tyler Toffoli. Surprised I didn't really start much. I'm surprised there wasn't a fight in this game at all. Trouba tried to be very physical in this game. I didn't think he had that great of a game. Granted, his defensive partner was brutal for the most part. At least in the offensive zone, they were brutal. We'll talk about that because Miller did make a nice little defensive play in the following sequence to stop what could have been a high danger chance. I thought the Kreider, Trocheck, Wheeler line looked good at points in this game. They almost get a scoring opportunity. Gustafson getting involved there. And the Rangers were limiting the chances, to be honest, with the Devils. In the defensive zone, I thought they played good for the most part at times in that first period because the Devils were only at 3 shots pretty much over halfway through the period. They had 2 goals, but the Rangers couldn't make a breakout pass, and the forecheck just could not get going at all. There was no forecheck, and that pretty much was the story of this whole game. The Rangers were not able to establish their forecheck at all, couldn't make clean breakouts, and that's pretty much the narrative of this game if you want the short summary, but we'll continue talking about this. Mika Zibanejad goes off for a slashing penalty, and then VC ended up making a good play, passes it to Goudreau for a shorthanded chance. That got denied. The Rangers didn't look bad at points on the penalty kill, but Other times they did. They were getting the shorthanded chances, but in their own zone, they just were not good enough. But that was a good penalty kill there. Goudreau then didn't end up breaking up a play in the neutral zone. He sure ended up getting a chance alone. And then Miller couldn't make a play from behind. That ends up hitting the post. And then at the end of the period, the referees just miss a blatant interference call in the corner there as Jonas Siegenthaler is just interfering with, I think it was Will Coley in the play there, and no call whatsoever. But regardless, that first period, nightmare. The course he suggested, the Devils were over 60% there, 5v5, and they got all the scoring chances. 85.71% scoring chances for. Not good. Not good at all. But yeah. Just another bad start to a game. That's all I could say there. Second period, though, the Rangers actually came out very, very surprisingly good. Will Coley almost buried a chance in front of the net, and then the Rangers would end up getting an opportunity, and Will Coley would end up getting a goal himself as Braden Schneider fires one wide, bounces off the boards, and goes right to Will Coley, who buries that opportunity. The Rangers got fortunate with bounces at points in this game, that's for sure. They didn't really, this was my problem too, is that I really didn't feel like there were enough times where they were not only getting to the forecheck, but just finding the middle of the ice and just testing Vanacek. I thought they did not test Vanacek as much as they could have in this game, because they did have times where they controlled the puck. They just weren't capitalizing on the opportunities and shooting the puck. Then the Devils get away with another interference call, and then of course they get a power play there because Adam Fox apparently hooked Nico Hischier, even though it was a nice poke check. And sure enough, the New Jersey Devils score on it because that's the way it is. Jacob Trouba out of position. Nothing new. And yeah, Hischier just sends it up, and it goes right to Timo Meier. He couldn't bury the opportunity, and then Dawson Mercer gets on his stick and he buries the opportunity. 3-1 game. All of a sudden, Kakko then with a turnover, and the Rangers started to look brutal at points, but they still weren't terrible in that second period. Kakko had a nice move. Couldn't get the shot off, but a nice move. But the Rangers did have a good offensive zone shift. Got rewarded with a power play. Then it ended up being 5-on-3 because Nosek took a penalty. Laviolette used his timeout, which I found interesting there. And I liked it. I like that you draw something up, 5-on-3. Let's go. Let's get going. And I found it interesting that Pekka wasn't drawing anything up. It was Laviolette drawing up the plays there, which is abnormal from what we've seen over the past few years. But yeah, Panarin then, terrible pass. This was another thing too. The Rangers just made so many mental mistakes. Panarin didn't look awful in this game, but that play there in particular was just awful. He's trying to go back and forth with Mika Zibanejad nonstop for 3-4 passes in a row, and then it ends up on the stick of, I think it was Marino, and he got a chance shorthanded, denied. But the Rangers would end up scoring on the 5-on-3. Fox, again, another fluky goal. He tries to pass it across the crease and it ended up bouncing in, ended up being a goal. So the Rangers get another fortunate bounce. That makes it 3-2. And that is from Panarin and Kreider, that goal. Trocheck then with a bad play, though, on the power play. And then what is arguably one of the worst things that an NHL player could do? Take a dumb penalty. And what... can we go the extra mile at this one? Take a penalty that leads to a goal, because the Devils would not, they would most definitely, I should say, capitalize on Barker Goudreau's terrible cross-checking penalty that he decided to take. Because yes, let's just go out there, go on your shift, and while a guy's down, let's just cross-check him instead of skating and getting involved in the play. Let's just cross-check him. And yeah, the Devils would score on the power play. Jack Hughes, just a great shot. Can't really say much else outside of that. Really good shot. I will argue that Keandre Miller made a terrible play there, in my opinion. I don't like the fact that he went to the corner. He tried to play the puck down low there when you got to stick by the net more, especially on the PK, and the way that you have your PK running, you can't go puck chasing there. And in Trouba, he couldn't make a good enough play because of the fact that Keandre Miller's out of position. Trouba then can't go out of position. Otherwise, he's risking a play developing in front. So he just had the hope that he could either get a lucky deflection off the stick or defend the pass going across the crease there. Jonathan Quick had no chance really of saving it. That made it 4-2. You could argue he should have saved it, but I can't really be too mad there. But Kreider then drew a penalty there as Holtz went off for a slashing play, and the power play did had a couple good looks, but for the most part did nothing. The Rangers looked a bit better that period. I'll say that. It wasn't anything too good. Let's not get it twisted. I mean, 5v5, it says the Rangers dominated with an 83% Corsi, and they had a lot of scoring opportunities, it said. It says 90% scoring chances for at 5v5, and says it was their best period, but I don't know. I felt like the third period was better. Maybe that's just because of the fact that maybe it's just the fact that it was played more at 5v5 than the second period, but I thought the Rangers' best period was the third, which is weird because they didn't end up scoring, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm crazy, but he sure ended up getting an opportunity to score on an odd man rush. Couldn't get the shot off there. Pitlick, though, was announced done for the night. Let's hope that was just for precautionary reasons. I think Laviolette said he's day-to-day as of this point, but you never know. We just got to sit and hope that that's the case. And Mika then had an opportunity, couldn't get a good enough shot off, and the Rangers tried to poke it in. I thought that first line had a very good third period and a couple good shifts in a row when it comes to that Mika line with Panarin and Kakko. I think that Kakko, like I've been saying, has been making a difference. Gustafson threw a nice hit on McLeod. Schneider made a nice little defensive play on Hughes. Lazar goes off for a tripping penalty, and the Rangers tried some different things on the power play, which was interesting. I guess Laviolette's like, yeah, I've seen enough of this. He put on the second unit, he had Gustafson as the net front guy, which was interesting. It almost worked, but and then Fox and Mika switched spots on that power play, which was interesting. Sure, try new things. It's preseason. Why not? Power play doesn't go anywhere. Miller and Trouba, terrible plays in the offensive zone. They made up for it defensively at the very least. Othman then takes a high sticking penalty, which I didn't really love Othman's game. I didn't think he was noticeable whatsoever in this game. I'll be completely honest, which is disappointing because I want him to make the team, but it's going to be hard if you have even one game off if you're Brendan Othman, because there is a lot of guys pushing for this roster spot. Granted, I don't think he deserves to be sent down after one game, but management might just use that as an excuse to send him down. But Mika had a chance shorthanded alone, denied. Goudreau almost scored shorthanded. VC tapped one in shorthanded, but it was clearly a high stick, so it was no goal. And the Rangers had a lot of good shorthanded opportunities, and they just couldn't end up scoring. He sure got the empty net goal, and that was pretty much it. The Rangers' Corsi in that third period was 77% at even strength. Again, I really thought that was their best period. That's just my opinion, because I thought that they actually looked good defensively at points in the period too. Again, not a good enough forecheck still. I thought the forecheck was weak. I thought it was soft. I thought that they just did not make a clean breakout pretty much all night, except for like maybe one or two times I could think of, but just not enough. Not a good game all around. Just they didn't execute enough and made a couple mental mistakes. But again, it's preseason. At the same time, the Rangers didn't play awful, all things considered, like in terms of the score. Like the score would make you think that the Rangers played awful, but they just need to also find the middle of the ice in the offensive zone at times too and start throwing things on that, because they ended the game with 21 shots. The Devils only had 19. I don't think many of the Devils' chances were high danger, but although the first period they had a lot of high danger chances, but yeah, I mean the Rangers were right there in the high danger chances. That each team had 4, so make of that what you will. But the Devils just dominated at special teams. That's pretty much all it came down to. Shots in the first were 7-3 in favor of the Devils. Shots were 8 apiece in the second, 10-4 in favor of the Rangers in the third, 21-19 in favor of the Rangers in the entirety of this game. And I actually am curious. Rangers actually won in the faceoff die, right? But 5v5, the numbers tell you that the Rangers played better than the Devils, but from the eye test, I don't buy it really. Maybe that's just because the special teams are blinding me so much, but it is what it is. And then this game, there just wasn't enough players that I felt really moved the needle for me. Like, I thought that in terms of a guy that really had a good game, though, that I will give credit for, because I've been harsh on him all preseason, Braden Schneider, I thought had a good game. I thought Braden Schneider had a very good game, considering the fact that I've been ripping him to shreds, saying he should start in Hartford. Schneider, he played very good tonight. He played very good. Did he erase my feelings towards that? Not 100%, but a very good game. Capo Caco making a difference, and I actually want to see how that first line did. Yeah, that first line needs to stick together. Yeah, it's just what I expected. That first line dominated, and how many times were we beating the drum for the Kreider, Trocheck, Wheeler line? Ended up having a pretty good game in terms of Horsey. Granted, again, all around they need to forecheck better, and they need to get put more pucks on net. But in terms of them, like, actually having a controlled play at points in the game, I thought that they looked good, especially that first line. I thought the first line looked better than that Kreider, Trocheck, Wheeler line. But again, if that's the third line or the second line come opening night, I am not going to be complaining. I actually am curious. What did Laviolette say after the game? You almost wish you could take back 4 or 5 moments in time inside the game and do something a little different, because those 4 or 5 moments ended up being costly ones, but their competitiveness was better. I would have liked to generate more offense. I couldn't agree more. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And then his thoughts on that Panarin, Zibanejad, Kakko line. They had moments where I thought they were good in the offensive zone and moments where they were checked pretty tightly. I think you need a little bit more time to see things and see how they develop, but I thought it was a step tonight. Yeah, fair. I agree. Because they only had 2 shots on goal the entire night, which is the problem. If they could just start getting pucks to the net a bit and finding the middle of the ice, like, that will go the distance for that line. But I feel bad for Brendan Othman that he had to play with Nick Bonino and Jimmy Vesey, especially Nick Bonino. Nick Bonino has been, Coley Goudreau and Pitlick, though, was a solid line, huh? I like that line, but because I thought Coley had a good game. Pitlick, didn't really see him for the full game. He was all right. And then, who was the last guy? Barclay Goudreau. He wasn't. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Barclay Goudreau's game. Like, he wasn't horrendous, but that penalty is just like, if that's a regular season game, that's an unforgiven mistake to make right there. That truly is, especially when the team was starting to actually, like, gain some sort of momentum and starting to get a shift, starting to get things going. That was just unforgivable, in my opinion. Panarin, thought he was solid for the most part. Would have liked to have seen him generate more offensively. The same goes for Mika Zibanejad. Would have liked to have seen more offensively, but I still thought that he was solid for the most part. Who else in the forward group am I not mentioning? Othman, I mentioned. Didn't really move the needle. Kreider, Trocheck, and Wheeler. I mean, it's kind of the same deal with them. Like, I just didn't see enough from this team offensively tonight. But again, it's a step in the right direction at points in the game, because they got better as the game went along, and they were better than they were against the Islanders. Which is weird to say, because they scored more against the Islanders and got more shots off, right? But, like, there were times where they looked better. I don't know. It was a tough game to assess. Like, nobody was good enough offensively. Nobody was, except, like, the only guy I really noticed offensively in this game is Capo Caco, which has been the story all preseason long. Ryan Lindgren, thought Ryan Lindgren looked pretty good as well. I thought that pair of Lindgren Schneider looked good. I think they tried that earlier in the preseason, if I'm not mistaken. My memory sucks. I'm sorry, everyone, but But if they did, they were definitely way better tonight than they were in any of the previous nights. I want to see how they did in the face-off dot, though. It's annoying that the NHL website has not been quite the same this season as it's been previous seasons. And I apologize that I have not got to comments yet. I will get to them after I quickly check the box score here. Rangers with 26 hits to 18, 54% of the face-off dot, which makes sense why they lost, right? 9 blocks on each side, too. Who got the shots on that line? It was Panarin and Zibanejad. But Zibanejad had 3. I'd imagine he either had 2 of them 5v5 or 1 for Zibanejad, 1 for Panarin at 5v5, because that was the numbers at 5v5 for that line. But again, all around, they need to actually start shooting the puck more. Like the fact that every defenseman had a shot tonight, and there was a couple zeros for the forwards, especially guys like Trocheck and Othman, who you really want to see make a difference. It's kind of infuriating, but it is what it is. They got a game against Boston. We'll see how they do next game. Let's get to the comments though. Let's see. Brutal from Dylan. Aiden, how you doing? May only be preseason, but they have to get it for checking and more physical on the boards. I agree. I thought they were soft at points in the game tonight, but again, at the same time, they might not be giving it their all along the boards just because it's preseason. But I hate to be that guy to give them a pass like that, because I still want them to compete out there. But yeah, you need to at least see a little bit. Sorry, Matt. I saw your tweet, and now you got me distracted here, because I have notifications on for you now. Because you're a very good follow. You are a very good follow. Anyway, special teams did not change from last year. I would say they did. I'd say the special teams has got worse so far. I don't care. That's preseason. I don't like what I'm seeing. I agree to an extent. You could tell that they're adjusting to a new system and that it's taking a toll on them. As long as it doesn't take as long as it did under Lane Vigneault to adjust to a system, then this team is going to be fine. The problem is that if they take as long as they did under AV to adjust to a system, they have pretty much no shot at making the playoffs. Because if memory serves correct, which I want to fact check before I open my mouth and sound like an idiot, but could I get what I'm looking for? Can I get what I'm looking for before I open my mouth? Come on. The NHL website, man. It is... Can't even freaking get what I want pulled up. But if memory serves correct, and it does, the Rangers got into the playoffs. They were the number 2 seed, but they got in with 96 points in 2014. So that's not happening in this year with the way that the division is and how competitive the Eastern Conference is. 96 points is not going to do it. It's just not. So the Rangers are going to have to find a way to adjust, and quickly. They have to by the end of October, the latest, because they cannot afford, especially with Jonathan Quick backing up, and he might get to a slow start. You can't. Very concerning that the Rangers are no shows to start games. This happened under Gallant, now Laviolette. This is on the player's shoulders. I'm not going to put blame on anyone yet for that. Because at the end of the day, we have to wait and see what happens in the regular season. But yeah, if this continues, then for sure, that's something that we have to start discussing. Forechecking non-existing, yeah. Another disappointing result tonight. It really looked like, it does look like this team is going to have to take some time to adjust to Laviolette's system. Poor breakouts, poor neutral zone play, and lack of speed hurt us. I agree. The lack of speed, too, is another problem. Like a guy like Nick Bonino. I mean, Nick Bonino, he cannot play opening night. I'm sorry. He has looked visible, but for the wrong reasons. Nick Bonino has just not been good and has not done a single thing that has really been good this preseason. Like, I can remember one good play, like a good block shot he had against the Islanders in that first preseason game. Outside of that, or the second preseason game. Matt, I don't know if you're being sarcastic there. Uh, not the one that I just read the comment of. Matt S. If you're being serious with that comment, that's a problem. That's a problem. Let's relax somewhat. Do you think there's any chance that Garon beats out Quick for being Igor's backup? Yeah, if he's going on a tear in Hartford and Quick gets off to a bad start, like really, really bad start, then yeah. I mean, I was talking about this. I don't know if any of you guys tuned into Rangers Ice Brew. If you don't, if you're not watching them, go check them out. Go give them support. They're doing great work over there. But yeah, we were talking about there that it's just bizarre that they ended up signing Jonathan Quick in the first place. Like, they are pretty much saying that they're content with like an 800 save percentage. They're pretty much content with an 800 save percentage from their backup goaltender, like an 890 something save percentage to 900 save percentage from their backup goalie. If they get 900, that's acceptable, but you're probably getting under 900, and that you can't do it. Cross-ice passes need to stop. Make a one-timer doesn't work anymore. Yeah, Othman was not good enough. Rangers didn't play better than the Devils. Somebody's lying. Yeah, okay. Okay. If you think so. If you think so. I mean, I wouldn't say the Rangers played better, but I would say it was a more even game than the score suggested. That I would say. I wouldn't say that the Rangers necessarily played better. 5v5, the numbers say they played better, but I would say personally from the eye test that it was an even game for the most part, and the Devils' special teams just outweighed the Rangers, and that was the difference in the game. Kakko looks faster, yeah, and he looks so much more confident. I agree. Coley needs to be on the roster opening night. Bonino looked bad. Credit to Schneider, though. He looked a lot better. Just has to do it consistently now. Could not agree more with you, Matt. You're right on the money, as always. So, yeah. Schneider needs to show it consistently. And Bonino cannot play come opening night right now. Brewers out. Welcome to Queens. Craig Counsell. Craig Counsell, you are a New York Met. Goudreau's got to go. Yeah, the whole Goudreau thing needs to end by the offseason. He's been cap strapping this team, and it's just been a problem. Why can't we win puck battles and keep possession of the puck? I wish I knew. I mean, again, the play on the boards was just so soft. Was just too soft. The team tends to struggle winning puck battles and breakouts. Yeah, that's why I've been saying Laviolette's got his work cut out for him here. He's got to find a way to get this team just even even teaching them basic fundamentals of the game, like just simple breakout passes, basic back checking, like just things like that. And then, yeah, the play on the boards needs to just be a whole lot better than it was tonight. That's not even a debate. This might be real bad. I'm not there yet. It's preseason. I'm not there yet. And they're adjusting to a new system. But I will say that I'm definitely at the very least, like, I'm a little worried that some of these habits are not translating over or they're not developing enough good habits here in preseason as they need to. They need to start getting these habits going a bit. They need to get the habits. That's what I'm preaching, because that's what preseason's about towards the back end. The first end, it's okay, let's see what the younger players are about. Let's see how they look. Once you get to the end of the preseason, it's starting to ramp up, and it's like, all right, we gotta start adjusting to the new system. We gotta start developing good habits. And yeah, that's just what it comes down to. Quick has to go. Jonathan has not looked quick so far. I wish I knew Ichirba was a slow skater. Bizanet stated that he thinks his team is frauds and has them missing the playoffs. I initially was laughing at that, but now it looks like Biz might be right. Listen, Igor is going to steal this team games. And again, just we have to stay patient. I know it's hard looking at what's happened in the preseason thus far, and I know that everybody is freaking out and that it's like, oh my God, this team, there's no way this team could make noise. And maybe I'm being too much of an optimist, and I'm trying too hard to, like, maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm the goofball. But at the same time, we have to have some patience here. We have to have some patience here. It's all we could do. Just remember how bad, I can't stress it enough. Remember how bad the Rangers were to start off that season adjusting to AV system. Just remember that. I cannot stress that enough. Can't stress it enough. Find something here. Yeah, like this even too. Look at I found the exact thing that I was looking for. The New York Rangers in their preseason, in the year they went to the Stanley Cup Finals, lost 5 of their 6 preseason games. Sound maybe familiar? During which they scored 9 goals and allowed 22 against. They went 2 for 22 on the power play and allowed 5 power play goals against. So, again, maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm the jerk off, but I'm not going to write them off because of the way that the preseason is. If I'm telling you guys to relax, that's how you know you need to relax. I'm psychotic. I'll admit it. I am psychotic when it comes to this team, when it comes to the sport. Look behind me. Look at my freaking arm. I'm psychotic. We just have to stay patient as long as we could. If there's problems by November, especially mid-November, end of November, I'm right there with you guys concerned. For right now, I'm not going to write them off, but I could say right now, they need to start getting these habits going and quickly, and they need to start adjusting to the system and quickly, because you cannot get far behind the 8 ball. Sure, it worked for the Florida Panthers last year, but a lot of teams got better around the Rangers this year. A lot of teams got better. Another problem is, besides Laff, Hedel, and Kakko, every other forward is at or above 30. We have no one in their prime. Yeah, I mean, that's something that the Rangers might face as a problem. But at the same time, these veterans have to lead by example, take a step up. The Devils are good. Yeah, they are a good team. I can't disagree with you there. Cannot disagree with you there. Do I hate it that I have to agree with you? Yeah, I despise it. Despise it. The Devils are a good team, but they are a good team. It is what it is. Shane Pinto, welcome to the Rangers. Kane's going to Buffalo. Could be. Well, Kane the Buffalo. I don't think that Shane Pinto is going to be a Ranger. Penalties got tonight. New Jersey has the best power play so far. Exactly. The Devils just dominated on special teams. That's what it came down to. Quick has looked several steps too slow. Yeah, that's my biggest concern. And people were mad at me for listing that as a concern when he first got signed. I will never forget that live stream when everyone's like, "Stop being mad about a backup goalie." Like, come on. Look at Jonathan Quick's track record, and he has just not been a good enough backup goalie. It's or just goalie in general for that matter. Like, it's just there's a reason that he was pretty much the third string in Vegas until they had injuries. So another thing I noticed on our breakouts is that we panic way too much when we have the puck. Too much just trying to throw the puck up the ice when it leads to turnovers. I completely agree. They try to make such quick decisions when they have time. They have time. Can't write any team out. I agree. The only team we could really write out is like the Sharks right now. That's about it. Two concerns right now. If they lose, if they God forbid lose Igor, now Quick is the guy, and Miller just got his contract and needs to sharpen up in the D zone. Everything else will be fine. The Keandre Miller part, I agree. Miller does need to step up this season. I want to see him take the next step. When it comes to the Igor thing, you could say that about a lot of different teams. If Ilya Sorokin goes down for the Islanders, the ship's going to sink there. If Jack Hughes goes down for the Devils, they'll be competitive, but they're probably not going to be as good as they would. Even the Edmonton Oilers, as good as Leon Draisaitl is, if Connor McDavid goes down, the ship goes down a bit there. Am I saying that the Rangers will stay competitive if Igor, heaven forbid, went down? Probably not. No, they're definitely in a worse position than if other teams were if they lost their superstars. But even right now, Tampa Bay, people are starting to write them off a bit because Andrei Vasilevsky's out for a few months. You could say that for a lot of teams. And I don't think Quick is going to get most of the starts if that was to happen, heaven forbid. If heaven forbid that happened, I think Dylan Garand gets most of the starts at that point. You have to. You cannot give Jonathan Quick the starting gig at that point. You just cannot. I trust the Laviolette process. It's just whether the players are willing to buy in, and I think they will. It's just going to take some time to get rid of these bad habits. I agree. Like, between David Quinn and Gerard Gallant, this team has so many bad habits developed from those two coaches, and they need to just shake it off. And Laviolette just needs to explain the games. Just needs to be played simple sometimes. Like that's all. That's really all. And yeah, the players are going to have to buy in because, like I've been beating the drum for, there won't be this core if the team doesn't start to buy in. And now I trust in Benny. I could see Garon coming up. I agree, Mike. I agree. I agree, Sean. Halak was better. And that's what annoys me is that Halak, I would have 1,000, a million, billion% would have took him back as the backup this season if he wasn't asking for $2 million. The problem is that at the start of free agency, he wanted $2 million. He wanted $2 million. That's why he's not back. Tyler Mott, same deal. He wanted $2 million. Ended up signing for League Min. Halak doesn't have a gig right now, so he might be regretting it. But I think both parties are really disappointed in this one because Rangers really could use a Yaroslav Halak right now as the backup. That too. I mean, Laviolette's said that he's not really, fully engaged behind the bench right now. Once the regular season comes, though, let's go. I mean, we saw how pissed he was after a preseason game against the Islanders. That got me feeling away. That got me feeling a certain type of way and rubbed me the right way. It makes me feel comfortable. So I'm I have faith in Laviolette. I have the whole way through, and I'm going to continue to have faith in Laviolette until there's reason not to. But even then, it's going to be, he has a lot of work to do. He really, really has his work cut out for him, and I feel for him. I truly do feel for Laviolette there. But I've been going for 40 minutes. There's been 40 people in the stream. You guys are absolutely, you guys are beauties. You guys are beauties. I cannot believe how much you guys have killed at this preseason. I cannot even imagine what's going to go down during the regular season. This name change, I'm happy with myself that I did this this whole channel rebrand. I'm happy with myself. But we're going to wrap it up here. Leave a like on your way out, please. We got 15 likes. There's 40 of you in the stream. Let's go. Like up the stream. Like it up. Let's get to, at the very least, 20, 25 likes. Let's at the very least do that. Help the YouTube algorithm. Help me get even further along the way here. We're trying here. We're grinding, and it's going to be a grind all season. This between the team, between me, screaming my head off. 82 games for the season, including the preseason already, including the postseason, hopefully at least 16 games in the postseason, and that means the Rangers winning all 16 of those games. But then I'm screaming for the right reason. So yeah, tomorrow we'll be back at it. I'm not sure if I'm going to the game or not, and if I go to the game, stream will be late. If I don't go to the game, stream will be early. It's that simple. So I'll see you guys there. You guys will be there. We will be there. But I appreciate you guys a lot. I love you guys buying into the memes and everything. It's funny. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys a lot. And I will see you guys in the next one. Let's go, Rangers.